Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, Coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card, where we talk about soccer in between drinking beverages and doing other concoctions as well. We do have a new sponsor tonight. So if you are looking for a sensorial, that's what they say, a sensorial personal lubricant, make sure that you look no further than KY. KY, if you need to jerk it, this shit will work it. All right. Turn up. They also have two brands. There's just Turn Up the Heat. There's Warm and Sensual. These motherfuckers have been doing this. They've been doing this since 1904. 1904. So they know what they're doing.
People be stripping.
I mean, they started out with whale fat. Then they moved to pork fat. And then they moved to a sort of olive oil version. And here we are many years later. And that shit's just really good. So, again, just to be safe, don't use any of those weird things in the past shows we've discussed, okay? We haven't said, you said you've tried them. Well, I said shampoo. I used shampoo once. That was bad. Didn't work out well. So if you do use shampoo, make sure you wash the shampoo off because it will turn into a crust if you don't. Okay, welcome back to the show.
What a sponsor.
We won't go into the financial particularities and the deal we've made with KY, but we will be doing KY commercials.
They're actually just paying for Derek's sex doll for the upcoming show.
You're going to be really disappointed, dude. I did find a blow up that I could go and drive and buy at Hustler, whatever it's called, down on 86th Street.
Cirillas?
No, not Cirillas. They did not have a cheap gag blow up doll, but these guys at Hustler near the Trader Joe's, they do have one. So I'm going to pick one up for the England. You know, again, it's going to have to be after the England USA game because guess what, folks? I'm watching the game with my parents. So I won't be able to drag a blow up doll to my parents' house. That's just not how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Please tell me you're pulling her leg. I'm not going to tell you either.
KY for a year.
It's a shorter contract. It's about 3 months. So,
but they say 3 inches. Oh
no. They did find us. They like the show. They like all the sexual references. So there you go. KY since 1904. Adam Wiggins says, welcome all to the Straight Red Card, your source for the truth on all things U.S. soccer related. No USSF ass kissers here. These men ask tough questions. World Cup is less than a month away. It is. And I am titillated about it. I don't know about you guys. I'm excited about it. I know it could be a really rough World Cup for us, but I'm still, you only get so many of these during your life. And I figure, since I'm also half German, I got two teams to root for if the U.S. goes at the beginning. So I hope that doesn't happen, but it could. How'd you like those effects?
Yeah, those are great. Yeah. We would put those in post, though. Derek, it would be nice if you told me about this sponsor. I could have had some nice banners going off. I could have had some hashtags.
I'm sure.
Go to KY's website and type in, bleed for or whatever.
Right now, their feature item is called Turn Up the Heat. Turn Up the Heat. So if you like, apparently it says it's hot. I don't know. Do you want your cock to burn while you're rubbing it? I don't.
Isn't that what happened when you use the shampoo?
No.
It stings. Ow.
Cock smelled great and it didn't burn, but later on turned into a crust. Okay. Do we have a crust? They had crusted over.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's very painful. The turd must be asleep. Yeah, the turd must be asleep. Yes, he might be. Listen, he's been at every show but one for like a year. So I don't really have anything against him if he wants to miss a show.
I want to know who is madly changing their YouTube name right now just so they can take over. It's like, shit, I fucking forgot. There he is.
Oh,
As
he's
if
there. Welcome to the Straight Red KY Card, the only soccer show that is sponsored by KY, I think. Jerk it in peace. Put down the Tabasco. Use KY. Greg Berhalter uses KY. Oh, actually, Greg Berhalter uses Vaseline. Pretty much the straight up old school Vaseline. That's effective, but it doesn't have the viscosity of a KY product. Like, you're going to get a little bit more resistance if you use the Vaseline. KY, that's just going to be nice and slippery. So there you go. All right.
Well, you know what?
We
actually have a person who Berhalter used the KY on. I got a little post here.
Get out.
No, serious.
Berhalter's used some KY on something?
Absolutely. You want to read that?
Matt Miazga, doing an exit interview with local media, held back thoughts on his place in the U.S. men's national team player pool. Supports the team, understands decisions aren't his to make, but said the competitor in him thinks he could be in the U.S. men's national team. He and Greg didn't see eye to eye at times. Oh, who said that on this show? Who said that eons ago? When Matt Miazga decided to have his wedding in the middle of the fucking Gold Cup or whatever the fuck, Nations League. What's
It was the Nations League, yeah.
It's like, yeah, he could have planned that out better. He knew he was going to be on the team. Or did he have his wedding planned for that day? And he just.
I don't think it was his. Was it his wedding?
It was his wedding. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like a sister's wedding or something like that.
Mm-hmm. No, it was his. It was his wedding. So anyhow,
but he goes on to say, we'll see what happens in the next few weeks. I don't think I'll be called up. Miazga underscored, not seeing eye to eye with Greg did not equate to serious issues necessarily.
Really? Did Matt talk to John Brooks about this?
Well, I guess one thing to consider here is that after the not seeing eye to eye, Miazga went on like an entire season hiatus where he played a decent chunk in the first fourth of the season. Where was he at? Alves?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then after that, didn't play almost the entire season. So Berhalter's like, yeah, I'm moving on.
Bye. But, tell me that he's not a better center back than Aaron Long.
That's literally,
Really?
if I were to scroll down, the chat, if I were to scroll down the chat, everybody's like, still better than Aaron Long, still better than Long.
He's fucking way better than. Since Aaron Long's come back from his injury, he's nowhere near the player he used to be. And he's certainly on not Matt Miazga's level. He's just not. I'm sorry. He's not. I don't care.
Here you go. Chris Gray actually has the exact quote from the article.
Greg, hey, Matt, why did you schedule your wedding on Tuesday during national team camp? Miazga, sorry, Greg, I couldn't hear you. I was busy kicking this little dog.
Fluffy, no!
That's my dog. Oh, suddenly Greg has a fucking British accent. It's my dog. No, he doesn't. All right.
I posted the video of Miazga allegedly kicking the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And he drop kicks the dog straight into the sun. That's how powerful he kicked it.
Yeah, I've seen that meme.
Yeah.
I don't like those memes because I'm a dog person. I love dogs. So even joking about kicking a dog kind of gets me riled up. Makes me want to punch motherfucker. And that's
why before every show, guys, I talk about kicking dogs, just so Derek's all piss and vinegar.
So it's good to know this whole thing about Matt Miazga is a joke. Matt Miazga does not kick dogs. He does grab men's testicles. He's done that a couple times, and a wang. He's done that in games. He has grabbed wangs and balls, cocks and balls. So, yep. But not kicked any dogs that we know about. We have pictures of the other things happening. And,
so
we've
Derek,
watched them in slow mo, for the factor. All right.
How over the weekend I sent you a text talking about how there is some group in Spain or whatever that's filing a petition or filing a suit with FIFA to kick Iran out of the World Cup.
Yep.
And
Not
so a
gonna
bunch of
happen.
people are like, oh, if Iran gets kicked out of the World Cup, it's got to be insert team here. It's got to be Italy. It's got to be Ukraine. Ukraine deserves to be there. And Tactical has been addressing those. It's like, well, if Iran gets kicked out, why is it all of a sudden Italy has to go to the World Cup? Why does it
Yep.
all of a sudden Ukraine has to go to the World Cup? At least Ukraine has some kind of a stance in what's happening with Iran and Russia. So yes, you can make that argument. But he goes on to say it should be another Asian team going in. Whoever the next group, whatever, should take it into place.
That's absolutely.
Tech finally snapped and wanted to get in on the grift as far as bringing in another player from insert random confederation here. And this is what he said today.
If they kick Iran out of the World Cup, the national team to replace them should be Grenada. Just my humble opinion. Well, make the group a whole lot easier, wouldn't it?
Okay.
No, I mean, Dak is right, by the way. If Iran, who is coming from the Asian Confederation, for whatever reason, and it's not happening, folks, gets kicked out of the World Cup, the team replacing him will be the next place from that confederation. You're not going to axe out another confederation's team and not replace it with another of the confederation's team.
Bring in Grenada. That way Frere can score 4 goals.
Exactly, Jasper. Yes.
Oh, man. Yeah, man, after FC Dallas ended up losing, man, there were a lot of accounts on the Twitters saying, now watch all the man babies talk about Ferreira and how he couldn't score goals.
Man babies? Suck my man babies. That's bullshit. The dude played like crap.
I didn't watch it. Don't know.
As soon as any heat's turned up on Ferreira and it's a big game, you can just goddamn count on him falling apart mentally. Because that's when he loses concentration or whatever happens to him. He can't handle it. So you're going to throw him in a World Cup and just wash him, like sizzle up like a fucking bacon on a hot pan? Because that's what's going to happen to him. He's going to turn into fucking bacon. Adam Wiggins, people are worried about Iran when Qatar shouldn't even be holding this World Cup. Correct, sir. That is correct. They shouldn't be. And it's all been admitted to at this point. But even after Sepp the sausage-smelling bladder was let go, they still kept Qatar around because they'd already paid for it.
Yeah.
All right. But Iran makes people upset? Yeah, exactly. If you're going to be upset at Iran, why don't you be upset at Qatar? I mean,
I imagine the people who were upset at Iran are probably upset with Qatar as well.
Apparently,
I'm sure it's a mutual disliking.
Apparently, in both countries, there are 0% gay people. How is that possible? I don't know. It's not, but there, according to them, there aren't. Chris Gary, we should replace them with North Korea. Well, a little different levels there, but okay, that's cool. Certain people get along with, like Rodman gets along with the North Korean president pretty well. You know, the basketball player from the Bulls.
Yeah. No, I know who Rodman is.
Dennis,
yes.
The tattooed Rodman.
Yes.
Okay. No.
Where's the wedding dress around and
right? Yeah, that guy. Yeah, went out with Madonna.
I don't know if that's considered a win.
No, but she said he was almost too big. So there's that.
He's got that going for him. Way to
yes.
go.
He was almost too big. Madonna, 1992, 3, whatever it was.
Throwing a hot dog down the hallway. I guess it depends. What era of Madonna, I guess, is the big question.
Oh, my God. I think it became a hallway after Rodman. And his name is Rodman. So there you go. I think after that's when it became a hallway. Before that, it was probably a smaller hallway, but it was probably still a hallway. Then after that, it became a large hallway, a corridor, if you will. The largest of lumber wouldn't hit the wall on that motherfucker.
Is there a cave nearby? I can hear the wind whistling.
It makes sense that some guy named Richie married her.
God, she's fucking weird looking now, man.
Yeah.
She went under that knife too many times and came out of completely different races. Weird.
Well, too many of them do that. They're coming out with these giant lips that make them look like they've got
Jorge posted to Trinity's dad.
What are those tubes that the kids wear on their arms when they go in the pool?
Those floaties?
Floaties? That's what some of their lips look like. Like they could just jump in the pool and hang their lips above the water and they just float.
Yes, his daughter is
Meg Ryan, by the way. I ran into Meg Ryan and John Mellencamp. This is after.
Where the fuck did that come from?
Meg Ryan had the big lip surgery.
Okay, it's like where did
look
this
at
come
any photo of Meg Ryan and
Mellencamp
and Meg Ryan broke up, by the way. But when they were together, I ran into him at a restaurant. Anyhow, the thing is, Meg Ryan, who was so cute back in the day, just a really cute chick. She looked like a deformed somebody had just, I don't know, punched her in the mouth too many times because her lips were way too big for her face. All right. David D says his daughter is actually one of the young stars of the women's national team. John Cougar Mellencamp?
No, Rodman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she has no relationship with him. That's been the issue. Yeah. So he never became the father he once pledged to be. I mean, he's Dennis Rodman. He's a fucking weird dude.
No, yeah. Here we go. David says the same thing. It's his daughter. She doesn't seem to be fond of him. Distant relationship.
Right.
Yeah. Touchy subject. Let's move on. In other news, MLS and USSF related coaching news.
Okay.
I thought this was kind of interesting to bring up.
What's happening? What news?
Hugo Perez for Houston would be a huge get. So we had talked about the possibility of who's going to replace Berhalter, and Perez, I think, hit everybody's list. Now the question, of course, it's easy to take a less talented team and overperform than it is to take a higher quality team and underperform or whatever. So people are like, I don't know if Hugo's only coaching experience is youth and then El Salvador. So that was the big argument against him. But I mean, now it's a possibility that somebody who knows our player pool and has experience internationally might go to MLS.
Yeah. Who lost their job at Houston again? Do we know? Who's the guy who lost his job at Houston? Anyhow,
any Houston Dynamo fans out there want to tell us that one?
I'll just have to tell you, going to Houston and being the coach of Houston hasn't been worth a dick for about a decade since Brian Ching was there. So I wouldn't want that job necessarily. Of course, if you're Hugo Perez, you take the job because you need a job.
I know Tab was there. I don't know if he was the most recent coach or not. I don't know, and I'm too lazy to go looking for it right now.
So they have an intern because when they fired Tab, I don't think they actually hired a coach.
Hired a new one? Yeah.
Or a manager. I don't know. I'm not a Houston dude. But if they fired Tab, which, I mean, Tab knew what he's getting into when he went to fucking Houston. So he wasn't going to get much help. Paulo. Okay.
Yeah, that's what's it? Paulo somebody or Pablo.
Pablo. I don't know.
Pablo. That's the new coach, or was the old coach, I guess. But no, it was interesting to see that. It looks like Ben Olsen has interviewed for the job, and they talked with Hugo as well. And it's just bringing it up simply because we're a month out from the World Cup, and like I said, regardless of how well or bad we do, I'm a proponent of a one cycle for managers.
I know.
So,
I know you are, Brett.
I know you are, but what am I?
I know, and so is Pete, and so is
so I said, I'm a proponent,
and so is Jake. And
is it Nagamura?
I don't have a big problem with what you're saying. I'm just saying, dream on, brother. If Greg gets out of this group, he's going to be the coach.
I don't know, man. I feel like that might be the peak of his coaching international career. He may want to try to venture out and do hire a club back to Europe or something at that point.
Who's going to get sick of him? Ernie Stewart? Aren't they butt buddies?
Could be. Maybe.
I think they go back a while, those two. So either Ernie's going to have to lose his job, or if Greg gets out of the group, he's going to be the World Cup coach in 2026. But I don't know. I don't want that to be true. But and then people were talking about Marsch versus, Greg, and I have the same issues Pete does right now with Jesse, which is
can't find a striker to score a goal.
Well, that's one issue. That's certainly an issue. Although Rodrigo did score today as a striker, playing in the first half, or not today, yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait a second, what?
I just watched it again today. But yeah, I mean, this whole idea that Jesse Marsch is going to not be a systems guy as well, just like Greg, it's going to count against him for me from here on out, because I'm not seeing with Leeds right now, we'll get into that later, like a lot of adjustments being made.
So I guess it'd be an interesting topic to maybe even bring up to Jesse in a future interview. If anybody is out there that's going to be interviewing Jesse in the future, maybe ask him this question and say, hey, if you were the manager of the U.S. men's national team, would you still hold your system, or would you be flexible as far as depicting, here's my player pool, this is what I've got to go with. I can't force a square peg into a round hole unless you're Rodman.
But even Greg told Lawless that he's learned now as the manager of the United States that he needs to be more flexible. Again, apparently
he's picked up yoga.
Apparently, Greg's idea is flexibility is barely bending a steel bar. That's flexibility. Like, okay, yeah, that's about as much as I can do. Back to normal.
Just remember, there actually is no spoon. That was a bad Matrix reference. The spoon bends.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, what else we got before we take on this major ass topic?
I mean, we covered through all my little bullshit topics early.
All right, well, let's lead into.
Hey, nice segue there, Derek.
Can you a deep dive? I like that. Can you a deeper dive on Leeds? Does Jesse last there? If not, is he really a good candidate for the U.S. men's national team? I think he's too much of an ideologue. All right, there we go. That's my Italian, and they ended with French.
I mean, he basically just parroted what you just said too.
Yeah, it's true.
He's too much. He's stuck into his systems, and we're just basically trading one system for another, which is the same system, pretty much.
Yeah.
Except for, I will say there's a vast difference in the fact that Berhalter sticks to that 4-3-3, whereas Jesse typically does play the 4-2-3-1, which I think will make the difference if Berhalter ever decided to do that straight up.
Yeah, because he can play his highline ball, because Marsch has shown that you can be successful against good teams like Arsenal and Chelsea doing that. The problem is when you don't play Arsenal and Chelsea and you're supposed to be the better team, that's where Jesse is falling apart, managerial wise.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the big topic here is whether or not Marsch is going to get axed, whether or not he's going to kick to the curb, and it's always possible, especially if they keep losing the way they're losing. The sad thing is that they're actually not playing poorly. I mean, some games they had. Was it the Brentford game, or was it the first game that they really just got showed up?
Brentford was really bad.
Yeah. That was a bad performance. But when you look at the other.
Leicester was pretty bad too.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
I mean, look at a lot of the games. I mean, they're not hurting for chances created. They're creating. Where's it at?
Versus Fulham, they had so many chances. It's endless. You can count them on three hands.
In the Premier League. In the top 10 chances created, they have two players. They have two players in the top 10.
Right
there. Bam. They're both averaging 2.5 chances a game. I mean, I feel like at some point somebody's got to fucking finish those.
Nobody's putting them away. That's the problem. People don't even come at me that Bamford's just as good as Mitrovic. That's a joke, right? That's a joke. Because Mitrovic is a badass. I mean, the sad thing is you had Leeds people on the board saying that Bamford was an international number 9. Well, tell me the last time he played for England, because I don't remember it. And number 2, he's nowhere near a guy like Mitrovic. nowhere near in sharpness, fitness, form. Mitrovic has been on this run for 2 seasons in a row now. This guy's unstoppable. So this whole idea that Fulham was supposed to lose easily to Leeds is ridiculous, number one. And I don't know who all the Leeds fans are out there that think that Fulham is such a fucking shit team. They're currently in 7th, I believe. And they were 8th before or 9th.
I think if Bamford put his chance away, that would have been a 1-1 game at the time, and it would have been a completely different change at them. I mean, again, it's not like Leeds was sitting on their heels the entire fucking game. I mean, they had their chances.
If Bamford would have put that away, it would have been 2-1 Leeds.
Oh, was it 2-1? 2-1 Leeds?
It was 1-1 at the time.
You're right.
Because we had the goal by Rodrigo, and then we had Mitrovic score, right? So it was tied 1-1, and Bamford puts that away. Aronson had a chance to put one away. Somerville missed one. That guy Greenwood put in some limp dick from outside the box shots. I'm not trying to give Jesse Marsch excuses because I'm not. This is not what I'm doing.
He's on the fucking hot seat right now. No argument there.
If he got fired after yesterday's game, or was it Sunday? I would not have been surprised. Honestly, I was waiting for that shoe to drop, and then Jesse came out and said, "Yeah, the board's behind me," which is like a death knell.
Well, he said the same thing after the Leicester game too. Yeah, the board's behind me. And he's also not. The funny thing is, not funny. I guess it's sad in its own right, but he's also not making excuses. Him and all the players doing their post game, they all acknowledge the fact that they need to be getting the points. They need to be getting the goals. They need to be doing better, and they're not doing it. And they're letting the team down. They're letting the fans down. Yeah. It's my argument is that Leeds could use a striker and a center back
and a left back.
Or left back. I think, I guess but to your point, what you mentioned before the show is by getting a left back, you involuntarily get a center back. So
right, it's because I think if you play cock and strunk next to each other, which sounds like a
strong cock,
a grammar book for proper punctuation. But if you can get strunk and cock in the center back positions, and you get a real left back instead of Firpo, who was such a disaster outside even if he's healthy, I don't want him to play. He's that bad. Pabis says Leeds are so close to being good. It's heartbreaking to watch. It is. It really is.
Yeah.
Totally understand the fans taking it out on Jesse. They're pretty much started out by taking it out on the board, which is good. And then Jesse's players came to his defense. But the board, as Brett mentioned, didn't give him what he needed because he came out early in the transfer window and said, we need a striker. We need to get another striker. And then later on, he seemed to be okay with them not getting a striker. And they were after Gapko, or what was his name? Yeah, I think that was his name, who's not even a fucking center forward. Like, somebody needs to back up Bamford. Mr. Patrick Injury Bamford needs a backup, a serious one. And Rodrigo ain't it.
I would play Rod outside of his couple blunders of handing over the ball to Arsenal and that type of shit. I would play Rodrigo over Bamford any day of the week at this point. It's frustrating to see Bamford in that sense because Bamford does get in good positions. He creates opportunities. Of course, he gets set up by the surrounding players. But the fact is, he just has not been finishing them at all.
No.
And that's the most frustrating part. Should have had the fucking PK against Arsenal. That would have been a draw.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like that would have squashed a little bit of the venom right now coming from the fans because you draw against one of the top teams in EPL at this point. I mean, that's a step in the right direction, I guess. But then you follow it up with losses and it hurts. But
he fucked up against Leicester too.
Yeah,
he should have had maybe 1 or 2 goals that game. So I mean, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now, honestly, because maybe the Arsenal game turns out to be a win because, honestly, I thought they should have won that game 2-1.
Oh, absolutely, hands down.
So, oh boy.
This is a comment on one of Jake's videos, I think.
A great defense of Jesse Marsch. Leeds are 9th in XG difference. Oh, ahead of Manchester United. Leeds are the only team with 2 of the top 10 players with the most chances created, Aronson and Harrison. Bamford leads the league in big chances missed, 9, with less than 400 minutes. Bamford is yet to score a goal. Leeds are 8th in XG against 13.8, but have conceded the joint 7th most goals in the league, 18. Yeah, defense has been bad. With an expected goal difference of plus 1.4 and an actual goal difference of -5. Leeds are the unluckiest team in the Prem. I don't know if it's unlucky. I really don't see how this is on Marsch.
Yeah, well, I can see how it's on Marsch. And you brought up the point that they said they needed a striker. And yes, they needed to get a striker. But the big problem is maybe they spent a little bit too much money on getting Aronson and Adams in. I mean, don't get me wrong. My opinion, they've been solid and key players for Leeds, 100%. But maybe he ended up spending the bulk of the funds.
but who's the player that was at the fucking airport that they were going to sign and give big bucks
guy
to?
from Marseille or whatever.
Yes. So it's not like they weren't willing to spend. They just fucked up. They fucked up.
Timing, yeah.
And they gave away Dan James.
Yes.
What the fuck are you getting rid of Dan James for? If you need a backup fucking striker.
Yep, that kid from France should have been like literally on the training grounds, lacing up his boots for his first practice before you sell off James.
Here's how the deal went.
At all?
Here's the deal. This is what happened. They're going to sign the guy at the airport, and they had already cleared out room for him by loaning Dan James, because Dan James knew this guy coming in, he was not the backup striker anymore. So Dan James wanted out, and Dan James got his wish, and then they did not get the striker that they wanted. So yep. Well, they didn't really bulk at the transfer fee. They already had an offer for that guy at the airport, and it was agreed to by his agent. So I think it would have been around 26. So
no, it's not that he didn't make his medical. He signed with a different team, but then failed his medical there and went back to Marseille. So
right,
that was what a massive clusterfuck that was. But I mean, I guess, and again, to your point, there is that they were actually actively looking for said player to fill that role.
Yes,
and
they failed. They just failed miserably in the transfer window. And then you get, not only do you get rid of Dan James, but for whatever reason, as well as Gelhardt played at the end of the last season for Jesse, this guy's getting like little tiny crumbs of playing time now. So I'm not sure what's going on there, because guess who's not doing it for you? Bamford. At least Rodrigo scoring some goals on occasion.
Wasn't much of a fight, Jose.
Brett, talk about the Adams fight you had on Twitter. What was this? You had an Adams fight?
Oh, I got into a bit of a debate with somebody who doesn't rate Adams at all. And there's no reasoning, no going back and forth. But we got a couple of thumbnails. I got a couple of
let's get to say you have no thumbnails of this great fight. I want to see this.
The silly thing about Twitter fights like this is that they go on for fucking ever, and they splinter off into various different threads, and actually trying to navigate through it is such a pain in the ass. It was a bit of a debate in the sense that I say, well, I mean, the fans, the pundits, the league, are all rating Adams, saying he's doing a great job, and you're saying he's not. And Adams has his faults, absolutely.
Sure.
We point him out. We point him out for the national team. He can't play the single. He can't play the solo six. He needs to play the double pivot that they play at Leeds, and he does well on that double pivot.
He does.
Now I'll bring up one of the topics here in just a second. But he goes on to I'm talking in third person. I might as well just go ahead and bring up one of them right now.
You found it?
Yeah, I got one. I got one right here.
All right.
So some of you guys might know who Calcio Moneyball is. We had a conversation with him last year around the January window, whenever the snow matchup in Minnesota was, in bringing Luca De La Torre. And Derek and I have been pushing Luca De La Torre for many a window prior.
Right.
Like since Nations League, saying why isn't he included? Why isn't he included? And it was brought up in the fact that he had like 1 assist in the entire season. But I mean, if you went back and watched the actual matches, or just the even the highlight reels of just him touching the ball, you can see not his fault.
No, I mean the guys couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, and he was laying them off sitters for goals. So
don't mention his name. Guy's exhausting. Yes, but I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to argue. As light as it was, I don't know. Maybe it was got a little heated. I don't know. I drank one night. Had a lot of back and forths.
Okay.
But yeah, he's not a big fan of Adams, and he kind of thinks Aronson's sort of more or less a one-trick pony, MLS quality type of player. And Calcio, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in this description, but I'm pretty sure that's how I read into your comments about it.
How to fix the U.S. men's national team? Drop the MLS center backs. That's not going to happen at this point.
Would you agree with that though?
I'd drop Long.
Yeah, at least.
Play Horvath. Wasn't that after that last game? Horvath just had, that was a stinker. 4-0 loss for Luton. Bench Weah. No. Aronson. I mean, you're going to have to bench one of these guys if you're going to play Pulisic and Weah. Somebody's going to be on the bench for Greg.
Yeah.
Bench Weah.
Maybe 2 of these might be on the bench.
Right.
Depending on who you play in the midfield.
Exactly. Reyna. Have you watched Reyna lately? Did you watch him this weekend? Now that he's back,
it's that line right there. Bench Weah, Aronson, Reyna. They
are
substitute
quality.
That's what gets me, and that's why I second guess some of the stuff he says.
And
that can't be a real assessment there.
That's why his name is U.S. Men's National Team Tits and Ass. He's full of it. All right, on that one for sure. Play a double pivot of LDT and Busio. Have you fucking watched Busio fucking play? Anytime recently for a year and a half, 2 years.
Holy shit. I did not even realize that this came up. Why did this come up in my feed? Somebody must have responded to this recently. But yeah, this was back in April.
Oh.
Thank you, Jose, for pointing that out. I'd be curious to find out if he'd agree to this, though.
Still Busio?
So,
really?
Okay.
LTD can't get any playing time with Celta Vigo right now. He did get 12 minutes today, this Monday.
I guess going back to let's put our minds back in
April.
April. Was that the final window going into?
Could have been.
Weah's been on a hot streak with the U.S. men's national team as far as just being a very fucking dangerous player. Scored a goal or 2, assisted. Aronson's been good all qualifier. Reyna was still injured. I mean, he came back in that final window. So, I mean, this must be an overall assessment, not necessarily taking into consideration the current standing where they're at.
I'm kind of fine with Star Pulisic and PFOC as strikers.
Yeah.
I could live with that.
A fucking 2-striker formation, that'd be amazing. I would love that.
I'll take fucking Tweedle-Dick and Tweedle the fucking pussy. Put them together and put them on the field. I'll take them.
Yeah. I'm not sure the double pivot there, and I'm glad to see that he came full circle with Luca De La Torre.
I like his double pivot, but I just don't like the players he picked to play it. I think that you're going to play double.
Why did this pop up on my feed? That's my question.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you should play Adams and Musa together as a double pivot. I think that would be spectacular. Busio is still good for me, damn it. All right, Jose, you hold on to that wish. Just don't use a whole lot of KY because it'll slip right out of your hands.
He may play against Serie C soon.
He's really chucking it up there at Serie B.
I had a lot of hopes for the kid too, but
I did not ever have any hopes for Busio.
No, 100% he was. He was not on board with Luca at the time. I'm definitely not going to go back and find that though, because that'd be way too much fucking effort.
Yeah. But thanks, Chambers, for being aware.
I will put out the caveat that I might be wrong on that. Very slight might.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about 99.5% positive. But regardless, I believe he came full circle on that, regardless. On that,
Right. Regardless. All right. More?
Okay.
Yeah, more. Okay. Yes, he's cute. What? Tries hard, and they paid $30 million for him. I watched the games usually multiple times. I played soccer competitively for 20 years, and I make a living.
You wanted this one because of that.
I make a living analyzing things and giving executives my advice. Oh my God. Did you just say that? Dude, you cannot say that. You cannot say that.
I don't know if he does or doesn't.
How about every time we disagree, Brett, I say, hey, Brett, I've been giving fucking executives advice for fucking 30 years. All right? So you shut up because I know better.
Well, it's a fallacy, isn't it? It's basically arguing from a sense of
superiority.
No, fuck. I can't think of what it is now. It's a logical fallacy. It's an argument from.
It's not straw man.
No. Some people get it eventually.
All right. Anyhow, I think you're being too fancy. I think this is just, this is like pontification. Look at how fucking superior I am to you and so just take what I say. And then I like the next guy said, you must have such a big dick. Actually, I would disagree with that and say it's probably rather small. Small.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, like I said, I've had some fun back and forth with them, and even down here where he says Adams is benched and Leeds is winning, huge boner. Like, and I actually I think I pretty positive. I responded to him basically saying once Leeds ended up giving up the lead and ended up losing. Like, hope it was good for you or something along those lines.
Oh, I'm sure that huge boner was all 3 inches raged. He had it out and it was going. And he was just doing the 2-finger method, All right.
Again, I'm having a back and forth with him about Adams, and this is all relative to the conversation at hand, guys, because we're in a situation where Jesse might get fired, and I just personally, my opinion, don't think it's Adams and Aronson's issue, and that's basically what it was leading up to.
I don't know. It isn't. That debate.
Basically bench Adams. He wasn't good here. He didn't do this. Blah blah blah. And then
how good did that work out today with Greenwood, who's a striker playing center midfield in Adams' spot? It didn't work out real well. Didn't.
It was yesterday too, but
yeah. Yesterday. Who cares? People know what the fuck I'm saying. All right, I know you want me to be nice to this guy.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. I don't give a rat's ass. I'm going to flat out state that again. I have fun on Twitter. And I might have a back and forth that could get heated at time to time, but I mean, usually it's all in relatively good humor. So,
right. Well, the only thing bad I think I've said about him is he's got a small penis. So I think we're going to be good.
And yes, Adams is not a perfect player by any means. He will have issues from time to time, miss passes and everything. I think under Jesse at Leeds, I think he's been one of Leeds' more consistent players. Now. Yep. To Kelsey's point, at some points, maybe that puts a little pressure on, say, Roca, who has to cover Adams when he does his typical overcommit and then get beat plays. He does it with the U.S. men's national team, which is beyond fucking frustrating. Or the times when Adams moves up into the attack. Guess what, buddy? You're not an offensive player. You're not good at shooting. You're okay at making some decent passes here and there. But as a whole, your strength is to break up plays and to get the ball off your foot to somebody else.
He's a destroyer. That's
all you are. So play your role, and I think that'd be better, especially with the U.S. men's national team.
He has really been better. I'm sorry if people haven't noticed it, but he's been really good at quick passes this season.
Yes.
Bang, bang. He's very good at that. I think that's underrated. And if you've been watching him play at Leeds the whole season, I think he's been playing his role in Jesse's system perfectly. And most fucking Leeds fans think so as well. By the way, agree you can upgrade Adams, but I disagree. He's to blame for the problem. He is not. Yeah, he's not to blame for the problems. You can blame that on people who can't fucking score and are supposed to, and their job is to score. Those are the guys you need to fucking. I mean, even watching today's game again, the amount of opportunities and close calls that Leeds had it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, like how some of those things weren't goals. I don't know. Jose, straight red. Those who know.
One guy goes, I don't like them. Me neither.
Giving each other reach arounds, which we have no problem with. I just wouldn't do it in a public bar.
That meme has been going around like crazy. People are posting that shit all over the place. But it's a fun use.
Hey, do yourself, do with others, but don't do it in public. That's probably going to get you arrested.
Yeah, don't do.
Don't do.
Don't do.
You have to actually do because you got to get that out. That's got to come out of the body to cleanse yourself. All right. So again, I didn't think Fulham was that amazing, and I was torn during this game. Why? Because I've been a Fulham fan for 20 years.
Forever.
And so for me, rooting against Fulham was really hard to do, but I just didn't want Jesse to get in trouble. And I thought that Fulham could take a loss and still make sure they don't get even near relegation. I think they're that good.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew this was like the shit was hitting the fan with Jesse. And so should Jesse go? In my opinion, no. But that's for a few reasons. Who are you going to get?
Yeah.
Appeal to authority. Yes.
The logical fallacy is an argument or is an argument from authority. So basically saying, I've got this master's in this thing, so you're clearly wrong. Isn't an argument. It's basically saying, just because you're so focused and one thing really well doesn't mean you might not be wrong about the argument at hand. So you actually have to back your argument up rather than just saying, I know because I played competitively for 20 years. Okay, sure, fine, that's fun. Doesn't mean you can't be biased towards a player, which clearly happens.
I ran a nonprofit for 15 years. And Brett, do I have a doctorate in anything? Last time you looked?
I keep calling you doctor for some reason. I'm not sure.
DR, that's my initials. But no, I don't have a doctorate. But I can tell you this, folks. I've had many people who had a doctorate work for me. And I can guarantee you one thing. They may have the piece of paper, but when it comes to like world smarts and working with other people and being social and being able to make a sale or make a pitch or make an argument, I'm sorry. I mean, a lot of them were total duffs. Total. So, yeah, they wrote their little fucking paper and got their DR next to their name. But, yeah, don't come at me with that. I'm a person of, what was it called? Authority.
Yeah, it's an argument from based off authority. Yeah.
Certainly don't come at a person like me with that shit because I will fucking destroy you verbally. All right.
Jake's here. Says Dr. Derek.
Dr. Derek, I will take it. I will take it. I should have a doctorate by now. Somebody should have fucking given me one for free. Derek has his PhD in beef curtains.
Come on our show.
That's true. That is true. I was given my degree in that in 1940. No, it was
19 what?
No,
was that 1914? Damn, Derek, you look good.
No, it would have been right after I would say 2004. That's when I received that award.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Tom's got it down right there. Some of the dumbest people I know have degrees.
That's for sure. And you should see them drive. Holy twat. Holy twat. It's scary watching people with doctorates drive.
Yeah. A lot of people go to school for 7 years. Yeah, they're called doctors. Oh, that must be you.
Yeah, remember that. Yeah. So yeah, piece of paper doesn't mean shit to me. I want to see how you are under pressure, how you work with other people, how you're socialized. Whether you can take a joke, whether you know what a joke is. Some people they don't know what a joke is. I don't care what their PhD says. But Maximiliano Bretos, our good friend Max, who we disagree with very often. In other words, accounts tweet too much, not proud.
So the Mark Burns tweet says soccer was the most tweeted sport in 2021, according to Twitter. And that's taking into consideration basketball, U.S. football, and baseball combined.
Yeah, but what's there to even tweet about baseball? Nothing.
They're talking about some baseball earlier in the chat too.
I really like the way that Phillies pitcher flicks his wrist when he throws a curve. I think that's superior shit.
Okay, nothing but respect for professional baseball players, but I find that shit beyond boring to watch. So
I know I used to love it as a kid. Can't stand it anymore.
So
Unless it's a specific pitcher. There are specific pitchers I like to watch, but other than that, I can't watch that shit. It's too long.
Yeah, way too long.
I'm already prone to fall asleep at the slightest drop of a hat, and they're gonna have me fucking watching this guy grab his nut sack for 5 seconds as he prepares to hit a baseball. I can't deal with it.
But yes, as you said, Max says, in other words, soccer counts. Tweet too much. Not proud. My response?
What?
I'll second that.
Okay.
And third. And fourth.
I hope Max laughed. Honestly, come on, Max.
I think that's from somebody else right now. Max generally has a good sense of humor with a lot of my tweets.
But come on, being upset that it's not being proud. You should be proud that motherfuckers are talking about soccer.
We're taking over this fucking platform.
Why wouldn't you be proud of that? So what, you don't like 60 or 30% of the fucking comments? Who cares? They're still talking soccer or football or foosball or football. Who cares, man? Enjoy the ride. Enjoy all the different opinions. Enjoy the trolls. Enjoy the ridiculous opinions. Enjoy them. I do. I don't lose any sleep from a single ridiculous opinion I hear. Not a single minute of sleep. Not a single minute.
No one.
Because guess what? We get to take them on in this show if we really feel that bad about it. And Brettos, you should too. And just get it off your chest. Let it rip, dude. And I think he has. I think he said things like, oh, there are too many negative Nancys and all this stuff. Well, I guess we're one of them. And I've been on your show. And you've been on our show. And we like you. So, I mean, I don't think it's all about negative Nancyism. There you go. All right. What else we got on these Leeds fools?
So we have Yank Report coming out with a comment saying, in honor of my birthday, I need y'all to submit your best case scenarios for the men's national team World Cup glory in Qatar. And Michael Lopez, who's not following us, I believe. Yes, he is. Says Berhalter finds his true calling and becomes a rapper. He releases his first hit album, The System. With his first hit, My Nines Don't Have to Score. Pep is hired, and we make the semis but lose to Portugal.
That's a good one.
Must be
That's a really fucking good one. What was Pete putting out there? No, that's Sam. Okay. Was that Sam? Okay. In the honor of your birthday, I need you to submit your best case scenarios for U.S. men's national team World Cup glory in Qatar. I tell you what, he must have been low on the whiskey that night, because I can tell you that with a few glasses of whiskey, you can come up with your own ideas, Sam. And you don't have to rely on the fiction and Disney World of others, because there's not going to be any glory in Qatar. I'm just telling you, there's not going to be. I'm willing to eat crow. He's right, guys. We all need to meet at one bar and talk shit. Yeah. How are we going to do that, Jose? We all live in different places. You want us to all drive?
Everybody, let's meet down at Chat and Tap on 116th Street in I-69. Some of you guys might have a drive. I accept it.
Well, you set up that meeting, Brett.
Yeah.
It'll
be you, me, and probably one of our other Indiana brethren here.
No, I probably won't go because there's probably 2 or 3 motherfuckers who want to beat my ass that watch the show. So, no, I mean, they watch it now just to monitor what's going on, but they still want to kick my ass. They're going to find out about the party, and then they're going to gang rush me.
I thought you were into that kind of thing.
At the party. Well, you're standing next to me. I'll go as long as you're nearby, because you're 6'3" or whatever you are. So it'll take them several medium-sized mammals to get through you before they get to me. All right.
A little beer in each hand one to them. They can't throw punches. We'll be good.
Plus, my knees are bad.
It's Colin and Fred versus Derek.
I'd be fighting one person if that was the fight, because that's the same person.
Maybe.
Could be. Might be. Yeah. Might be. It's alleged. You're right. Not that anyone's going to sue us for that.
Yeah. It's great. That's a great point. Nobody would.
Oh, by the way, Jesse's got, following this, who's he got to play? No, he's going to get slaughtered, dude. Before they go
playing
to
Liverpool next.
Tottenham, Liverpool, Man City. Loss.
Hey, you know what? They show up for these big games. I mean, they beat Chelsea. They should have beaten Arsenal. So maybe that's 3 wins in their book. You never know.
No, they'll probably play better against all 3 of those teams. But in the end, I still think they're going to get Arsenal. They're going to lose, and lose.
Here, Derek. We need to pick a city for 2026, preferably probably whichever city USA is probably going to be playing in.
Yeah, what's the closest city that is going to have a World Cup game to us?
Chicago or Detroit, for that matter.
No, Nashville. Midwest got totally hosed in that whole fucking.
It's because Chicago never put a bid in for a spot. They didn't even try. Come on,
Chicago's
guys.
Lame, dude.
Lame,
Chicago's a limp dick. There ever was one.
We got New York City, I think, is what Christopher's saying is the closest one. Or maybe that's just the city he wants. I don't know.
I'm not going to New York City. Fuck that. I've been there. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not going.
Yeah, no, Chicago. It's New York.
It's too
Kansas
much.
Kansas City?
Is that true? Just Frank? Is one of the venues in Kansas City? If so,
yeah, David says it's New York and Kansas City. So,
okay, that's drivable for us, Brett. That's drivable. I mean, it's St. Louis.
Just fly there, but
St. Louis is 4, so that's another 3 or 2, so 6.5 hours to Kansas City.
The New York subways are beautiful.
Full of poo. Full of poo.
I watched a video today on Twitter of somebody putting their bag down and then just like checking somebody into the subway line.
I'll pass on New York City.
You have eyes in the back of your head down there, man.
I don't like New York City.
Yeah.
And I don't like New Yorkers generally. No offense to any of you that are New Yorkers.
Arrowhead venue. I'm
in
down
general,
with KC.
I said.
KC, we got some KC folks.
All right. Let's do KC then. I did, by the way, find a place nearby that sells an actual blow-up doll. So I will be getting one. Yep. But I will not be doing it live after the game because I will be at my parents' house.
Listen to that too.
And I do not want to bring a blow-up doll to my parents' house. So it'll have to be the show after that. And which, if the U.S. indeed does beat England, I will have simulated sex with a fucking blow-up doll. And that's how it goes. All right. Simulated. By the way, EPB played really well this weekend. It's time for a change at Leeds United, but if Jesse has to go, so does this clown. People swear it's not his fault. He's not performing and talk about him as if he was Lewandowski levels of good in the past. Yeah, right. He wasn't. I mean, he certainly was better than he is now. But, I mean, I'm sorry. Bamford, I think I made a joke 2 years ago about Bamford on this show when we first were coming back, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So,
Chambers brings a great point here. EPB was captain this week.
He was, and they won. And I'm starting to really like EPB as my lead guy. Right.
I think he kind of got the raw end of the deal in qualifiers that he did come into, and then the summer window. Did he play like half or at all in the September window? I don't even recall anymore. Did he play a half in one game?
I thought he was in there briefly.
I don't know. You have a guy who's consistently playing league and can barely find playing time for.
No, he got injured and was sent back, if I remember right.
Okay,
yeah.
Maybe
he was injured in camp. I did want to mention we talked about Leeds, but by the way, Jedi played really well in that game, and Ream should have been Pete's center back of the week, along with EPB. But instead, he played 3 in the back on his players of the week and used 1 center back and a left back and a right back.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, what kind of formation is that, Pete? I'm just kidding.
Let's see here.
Never Gillis.
Chuck says, didn't he play right back for a bit? He did. He did in one of the windows, like the final window. Who was it against? Was it against Panama? Was it against Mexico? It was one of those teams. He played right back for like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And he didn't look bad there, too. He was, even for a center back, I mean, he's still a pretty mobile kid. So he did okay there.
That wasn't McKenzie? I don't know. You might be right.
Was that Azteca? We got Mexico.
Okay.
We got Mexico.
Okay. Well done,
Mexico,
guys.
last couple minutes. Yep. I knew it was a window, and I wanted to say it was Mexico, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I do have to say that Pepe scored again this weekend, and he's kind of a hot run, even though he could have had 2 goals, in my opinion.
Weston scored.
Yep. He did one of his major leaper headers. By the way,
did not score.
No, he didn't. Ledesma was playing. He was on the bench for PSV in that loss to Groningen and Pepe, by the way. And this is really good because Groningen have like awoken. Like they had
a striker scoring goals.
They struggled before Pepe.
Yeah.
They struggled during the beginning of Pepe, and now there seems to be like something happening there because they're beating PSV. That's nothing to sneeze at. Taylor Booth had a great game for Utrecht, by the way. 2 assists. Yeah. Yep. Sonora came back from injury for Independiente versus Boca Juniors. Cardoso went 77. Kappas in Brøndby, we don't talk about him very much, but he went the last 8 in a win for Brøndby. He's going to have to play a lot more than 8 minutes if he wants to get noticed. Green and Tillman. Yes, Greuther Firth. They lost.
Who?
Again. They both were yanked at halftime for poor play. Both of them. Richards is still injured at Crystal Palace. And at this point, this deep in the late in the game, do you really think that Richards is going to get called up at this point? I don't think so. I think it's just getting too late in the game. Even if he gets
called, did you say Richards?
Richards at Crystal Palace.
Yeah. I don't know. No, I mean, at this point, I mean, you have CCV and you have EPB all playing right now. And even if he gets healthy, that's no guarantee that he'll play before the World Cup either.
Yeah, exactly.
So, no, unfortunately, I think Richards ends up missing out this World Cup.
I do too. Toljan went 90 in a win. Who? Jeremy Toljan. Who? Yeah, Jeremy Toljan. He's American. He's half American. He plays in Serie A.
Is he left back or center back?
Right back.
Right back. Oh, what it didn't say apparently.
Yeah, he and Sassuolo won again. Luca De La Torre, 12 minutes for Celta Vigo today, and Giaboli, your favorite player, Antine Giaboli, Eraribi went 10 for Ankarakachu in Turkey.
You're making this up. Ever since then, it's phenomenally you're able to maintain the shtick with that name and that team.
I'm sorry, real player, real team, real league.
Fake.
Nope. Pulisic went 18 in a tie. Reina 67, a goal and a win for Reina. And by the way, that was a sweet ass goal.
Yeah,
I like the fact he started celebrating for the ball even.
Yes, he kicked. He's like, "Fuck yes!" He's already down on his knees, sliding before the ball even goes in. He had a great game. Yeah,
I mean, I mentioned this on Jason Davis's Best Soccer Show yesterday, but I love his arrogance. I think it's just the right amount, and it's huge. We have it. Yeah, and I agree with Pete, and I know Pete said this, but I think I said it before he said it. I don't know. It's not a competition, but I think Gio Reyna is going to be the best American player to ever fucking strap on boots and play football.
It's a safe bet, in my opinion, at this point.
He's going to be better than Reyna.
If he can stay healthy, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Chandler and Scally had a jerk-off contest in which Chandler didn't play, didn't even whip it out.
I was going to say, that was a jerk-off session being on the bench.
Well, like I said, he didn't even whip it out. Scally did, but went 90 in a ball-beating defeat from Gladbach against Frankfurt. Paredes started and went 73 for Wolfsburg. This is something to keep an eye on for 2026.
Did he?
Too late for now.
Did he leave injured though? I thought somebody said that on there.
Ankle herpes. That's all I got.
That's possible.
Yep. So I don't know the answer. Dest 45.
You don't say.
45. He got yanked at halftime because he's not fit. I thought he was okay. I didn't think he had a great game. Musa 90 in a loss. Trusty for Birmingham 90 in a loss. Stefan 90 in a tie 0-0. Hey, by the way, no Hoppy signing. Hey, Hoppy, the fuck's going on?
Yeah,
do we have
like
to contact?
We kind of have to move on from the ship, unfortunately.
I know, but I haven't heard from. Well, anyhow, Sargent 90 in a tie. Pookie fucking misses the PK in the 88th. Let Sargent take it, you greedy bitch.
Yeah,
I guarantee you,
the striker who's been on fire for like the entire season at this point. Nah,
I know.
We'll let the legend himself take it.
Pookie missed it, and we ended up with a tie, or Norwich did. Hey, John Tompkinson made the bench
that drops
again.
him down to 7th. Really? Damn.
Tompkinson.
I guess there's only a 5-point difference between 7th and 1st. So I mean, it's pretty close contention right there.
Yeah. Tompkinson was on the bench for Norwich, by the way.
I heard it. Yeah.
Gooch injured. Reynolds went 90 for Westerlo in a loss. Sebastian Soto's lonely travels continue. He went.
And there were a lot of people like wondering if what's the inner workings of Soto and why he's not doing anything. And you know they're throwing up, maybe it's a work permit issue, maybe it's this, but he's not playing. He's not playing well.
He's not playing.
He was at Porto too for a bit there. He went to Scotland, the dredges of Scotland top flight, and didn't play.
Nope.
At this point, I mean, he's got to be making less money there than he would be in MLS at this point.
For
so,
sure.
I mean, why not just venture on home and roll the dice and see where they fall at that point?
He's making pennies at Klagenfurt.
Seriously.
Klagenfurt. Let me say that again. Klagenfurt, Austria. All right. I hope he gets.
That sounds Austrian, so I assume that's accurate. Unlike that Turkish team you keep making up.
Ankaragachu. It's a real team.
Gesundheit, yeah.
Conrad is healthy and did not dress for Olympiacos. Again.
Holy crap! He got loaned out again? Really?
No.
Yeah. Look. Chris won.
Suck Medic FC. Suck Medic FC. Okay, I see what he's
There
saying.
you go, there. I was waiting for you to catch it.
Suck my dick FC in Japan. He wish he were. All right. Ramirez in the 18 for Aberdeen didn't play. Hey.
He's back on the bench.
Tillman went 90. Sands went 45 in a tie for Rangers in a bad performance. Ian Harks, 20 in a loss for Dundee United. Bello didn't play. He rode Pine for 90. I told you about Bello, people. I don't make this shit up. I call it like I see him. He and Busio. Wipe them off. You got a little board with their names on it? Swipe their names off. Just wipe them off. They're not going to amount to a fucking hill of beans. All right. Tessman 20 in that same game. Oh. This is the 5. The 5 at Venezia. Busio went 70. Taken out. Tessman came in. Novakovic went 22. Leo did not dress. De Vries, he was told to clean up the toilets during the game, so he didn't get out of the fucking locker room. 1-1 tie. Venezia, bottom of the table, almost in relegation in Serie B. That is how good this group of American players are playing and performing for this Italian club. All right. They are fucking setting records there in Venezia for bad soccer. And unfortunately, Busio and Testament aren't helping. And Novakovic ain't really carrying the fucking groceries either. Zendeja scored for America. Yes, he did in Liga MX semis. America still lost this year, so they're out. I would say to Zendejas at this point, find a club in Belgium or Holland or Germany, and go leave Mexico. Just leave. Just leave.
It's fascinating that the scouts stop at the Mexican border.
And prep yourself for 2026, Mr. Zendejas. The problem is you're going to have a fucking rough and tumble for that position that you play. We don't actually really play your position in Greg's system. So you better hope Greg fucking has a stroke or something. And I'm not saying Greg should have a stroke. I don't want Greg to have a stroke. I just don't want him to be coaching in 2020.
As you mentioned, he's become flexible. He's become flexible.
No. That's not. Greg's idea of flexible is taking a metal bar and going, that's all I got right there.
Flexible, watch it. Look at me go. Look at me go, guys. Look at me go.
That's my flexible. I'm Greg Berhalter. All right. That's all you're going to get from Greg. That's about as flexible as it gets. Okay. Are we nearly done here at an hour and 11 minutes? This would
the question would be, are you done with the Yanks abroad there?
Yes, because they were last.
Okay.
Venezia. All right. We got more questions or no?
Of course.
Oh, who knew a team that needed a striker and center back in August and a left back would still need the same things in October? The good news for Jesse is the team doesn't look like they quit on him. They don't. Like Bournemouth did for Scotty Parker or Villa for Stevie G.
They're already talking about Stevie G's prime to go to Liverpool soon.
No, he's not. That'd be a travesty of not earning the position. So Pepe, McKennie, and Reina scoring. Poli starting to get love from the fan base. Euro fenders starting to shine. What is there that is not to like?
He doesn't care about managers, although, managers making a difference with the national team right now. Just taking away the fact that Berhalter got the Nations League and he won the Gold Cup and we qualified for the World Cup. I feel like at least the World Cup qualifying for the World Cup should be expected of all.
Yeah,
the national team. Gold Cup's potluck. It just depends on which team shows up in the end. Nations League has to be the same way, quite frankly. None of them should be guaranteed, but qualifying for the World Cup, I think, at this point should be guaranteed for any manager.
Yes, it's an embarrassment if we do not, as we clearly found out 4 years ago. But so Pepe scoring, McKennie scoring, Reina scoring, that is all good news. Puli getting love from the fan base is nice, but it's not. I'd like to see him get more playing time.
That's a small portion of that fan base. Man, that fan base is still rabid dogs, aiming to blame everything on him.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he played for 8 minutes and didn't score 3 goals.
Apparently they've been nicer to him recently, and they're asking on the predominantly English-based boards, why isn't he getting more playing time?
So there was somebody who posted a video of showing all the top 10 highest paid players for Chelsea, and Pulisic was number 10.
Yeah,
and you're making $160,000 a week. Feel bad for all those players on that poor team.
I'll take that money for
I'll take that 1 week pay. I'd be happy as a pig and shit with just 1 week. Give me that 160. I'll take it.
I'll take it.
But they showed Pulisic said this. And the top 2 people were Sterling and Havertz. And somebody quoted that video and said, and the top 2 players were the least productive players so far this season.
He's overpaid. Havertz is definitely overpaid. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got more?
Yes. You know better.
Hey, free to swallow.
It is free.
I like how polite that is. Yeah. So, she's
you're free to swallow.
She's getting started. Things are getting heated and hot. And you're getting near. And you just say, hey, baby, free to swallow. Okay, thank you. I mean, is that a recommendation or are you just giving me permission? It's my question. All right. Rough month and a half for Jesse. Seems it's beef curtains for him. I hear Shaper Poos is in line to get the Leeds job. Shaper Poos. Poos? I'm not sure I'm getting that one, but nice try. Whatever.
Puss?
It's certainly close to Shaper
Puss.
Shaver Puss is in line to get the Leeds job. I recommend she shave her own. It's a way better. You're going to get a better job done. Men, we just, with the shaving, we're like, get that shit over. Let me stick my dick in it. All right. Good weekend for the Yanks abroad as a whole. Gio West and Pepe score. Pulisic in line to start tomorrow. Oh, you have a mind meld with Potter last night. All right. Troy.
He didn't play much this weekend, so he's got to start, right?
Yeah. Twas manager Boner. Okay, Boner. You should have just left the E off. Boner said EPB should be in Qatar. I'm sure Bo said that because EPB should be in Qatar based on what he's doing right now. Yes.
And Bo knows soccer.
Yeah, Bo knows boners. All right. What else we got? More Frida. Fark typo. Not sure Derek. Farka. Not sure Derek has these guys on his abroad list, but Joseph McAllister, CDM 16, made his debut for Falkirk in Scotland yesterday. I don't have him on my list, but that one wouldn't be one I was be rushing to put down.
16-year-old replacement for Adams. What are you talking about?
Yeah. He's at Falkirk. It's not like he's at Dortmund's U2020.
That's next. That's tomorrow. No, sorry, next season. Next season, he'll be there.
And Howie Felter Snatch. Not a real
Howie Felter Snatch.
Bulgarian American. Started, played 64 minutes and got a goal and an assist for PAOK. All right, buddy. Greg.
I like how he's working them into the narrative. That like he's like weaving a story, and you're just supposed to read through it, and then sometimes you get caught, sometimes you don't.
Oh, I'm not going to get caught. I got caught once. All right. Well, boys, it won't be long now. Almost 2 weeks until the roster is out and less than a month until the Wales game. The drop-off for PFOC has been disappointing. Still think he deserves a spot. Ferreira has looked atrocious here lately. Will Sergeant Pepe capitalize? I'm not sure I would say that PFOC dropped off.
Thank you. I was going to say that too.
He was injured, and then he's been sort of still part of – he got an assist the other day, not last game, the game before that. So it's not like he's fallen off the map or anything. But
he's not producing as he did earlier, but he's still a productive role in that team right now.
Right.
Well, especially now that he's recovered from his injury. Of course.
Right. He's great at holding up the ball. Watch their games.
Will Sergeant Pepe capitalize though? I think you talked about Thursday's show. Do you think now that Pepe is he's found his form that he's going to be taking the place for Jesus, correct?
I hope so.
I thought that's what you said, but
I don't want Ferreira to be at the World Cup. I want it to be Sergeant, Pepe, and PFOC because Sergeant can do everything that fucking Ferreira can do and better, and he's 6'2". All right?
Yeah. The Tactical Yanks podcast posted a short where they're talking about this, and they're like, Jesus' biggest strength is his ability to find the open space of the field and to basically know where he needs to be. But when you don't capitalize, it doesn't help, and it's a worthless attribute to have if you can't capitalize.
Sergeant can do all
Sergeant can do it too. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, he can do all that. So
yeah,
I just don't get. I don't see the point of bringing Ferreira unless you need somebody to snuggle your balls and occasionally start if you're Greg Berhalter because. That's what you're going to do because you're Greg. Greg's going to Greg.
I feel like at this point, when it comes to the 9 in Berhalter's system, we've seen Ferreira come in when he's hot in MLS and put up numbers against any team under 100 in FIFA ranking or over 100 in FIFA ranking.
Right.
Anybody else, the numbers just aren't there for him.
And now that we've seen him in the playoffs fuck up 2 goddamn games in a row and really shrink in the playoffs in general for SC Dallas, and have a kind of, his season kind of went like this. It went, that's how his season went. It started off with a bang, and then it kind of just fizzled out.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyhow, that wouldn't mean anything to me, because if you ask me right now who deserves more of a chance with the national team between Ferreira and Vasquez, I'd say Vasquez, because Vasquez is performing in the playoffs under pressure. He's putting goals in. He's performing. Ferreira is choking. And by the way, World Cup's a lot of pressure. You want a choker on your team? It's up to you.
So in the 2 playoffs, was he playing the 10 for Dallas? Kind of a false 9, I guess.
I didn't watch. I just watched the highlights where he flubbed them. And I said, ooh, ow, oh, ugh. And then I said, no surprise.
Oopsies.
I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised by that.
USA Expat says, when Brooks and Miles and Richards were available, all we got was Ream. Most of us complained, with those 3 now unavailable, shouldn't Ream experience warrant call-up consideration?
Yes, he should. He should be Zimmerman's backup at the World Cup for sure.
Well, yeah, and we're looking at a quote-unquote, if you will. Let's assume he looks at the center backs and says, well, I need a slow backup for Zimmerman. I need a fastest backup for Long. Let's just say, if he looks at it like that.
I know, but you're right. He probably will.
But I mean, you got to look at the slow backups. Do you think that Ream deserves a call up over, say, a CCV, because that's who's going to be replacing Zimmerman?
Yes.
Yes,
I do.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
And it's funny. It's like it's similar to what he kind of posted here. Like, when Brooks, Miles, and Richards were all available, all we got was Ream. There was somebody else posted on Twitter. They're like, oh, yeah, when Ream was called in and played, everybody bitched and complained about him. Like, not everybody.
He played
not everybody. We may have complained about certain aspects, or maybe a single game, but he had some decent games, especially when he actually played center back for us.
He covered at left back in most of the games he's played for us.
Yeah.
He's not even got to play center back most of the time for us.
It's funny, Transfer Market has him playing more center back in those roles. But if you go back and watch, he's playing kind of like a left center back in a 3 center back role. I mean, basically, Des had free reign to run forward.
Yep.
And yes, he got burned by the Mexican Messi.
Yeah.
That's why you don't throw him out left. You put him in the center. You give him his run.
That was Diego Lainez 1-on-1 versus Lainez. What do you expect? With no coverage from a back. Yeah, he's
only Miazga can stop him. Somebody had posted that the video clip of Miazga and his little tussle. When was that? It was that Gold? That wasn't Gold Cup. Yeah, And I remember a bunch of people, like a lot of very vocal people, like, "Oh, this was embarrassing. Miazga shouldn't have done that. That's just bad sportsmanship." I'm like, I fucking loved it. I loved every ounce of that. That was great.
So you think Diego Lainez gives a fuck that he's short? He's making millions in Europe. He doesn't give a fuck about being short. I know people are like, "Oh yeah, man, that's heightism." Really?
Heightism?
Are you fucking serious?
After every single word and assume it's going to be offensive?
Jesus
heightism.
Christ! Do we have nothing better to do? Heightism? Seriously?
Oh no!
As someone who is under 6 foot, I don't worry about it. Okay. All right. Looks like the Leeds United States are about to lose a member. It seems Jesse hasn't learned his lesson from Leipzig. Given his run of piss poor form, do you see any chance of Greg drops
two different topics here? I was like, wait, what?
All right. Okay.
Take the first topic. Jesse leaving. He hasn't learned his lesson from Leipzig. I will say that he was brought in to play his system, whereas Leipzig, and as you brought up and other people have brought up after he got shit canned, Leipzig didn't want him to play that system. They wanted him to play like the previous system. So, but in this situation, he hasn't learned his lesson because he was called in to play his system.
But he was called in to do exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
So it's not that he hasn't learned his lesson. It's that, and maybe what you're saying is he's too much of a systems guy. And in that case, I'd agree with you. He has not been flexible enough, like he was at the end of last season when he had to be flexible because no one knew what his fucking system was. Now he specs everybody out. And let's be honest, his system looks really good.
Thank you. You kept talking, and I wanted to say this, but yeah.
The first 20 minutes of every game, it looks great. And then even in the second half with Fulham, it looked just okay. It looked fine. It produced opportunities. You
can't add this to every word.
Yes, that's competition. Good point.
Chuck says lolism. No, but yeah, so his system's not in this scenario, his system's not the problem. It might just be the players itself. And maybe there's a game or two that he has to change some things up. Like we said, the Brentford game was probably the most glaring one that we watched, and he just got owned. He got outcoached. And it was Brentford, right? I said this earlier. It was Brentford, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. He got outcoached, and his team looked lost. But I think most of the other games, his team was out there creating chances. They just had mind fucks in the defense, or they can't finish the fucking shot.
I think what was most disappointing to me was that Leeds guy I watch a lot, and he was on Tax Show, I believe, at one point, or Sam's. I can't remember which one. Maybe it was Pete's. Nevertheless, he was on somebody's show, and I like this guy a lot, but even he's calling for it. He said, "I'm sorry, Jesse Marsch has got to go." I'm thinking, really? He's got to go? And who are you going to replace him with? What sack of nuts are going to be sitting on that sideline managing that team before the World Cup? I mean, I think that's panic to fire him. I can understand maybe you can say it's all his fault because he's in charge, but look at this team. Look at the clown show
of
goals that you've given up.
One Leeds channel is on Tax Show.
Thank you.
What they're saying.
Yes, and I like that guy. I like that guy.
Yeah.
I just didn't expect that to come out of his mouth this early. Not that it's early, because they've been disappointed for a while now, and I can see why. It's been 8 games of not so good. But are you going to do better by throwing somebody else? Because look at this team. Look at this team. Bamford's your lead striker. Rodrigo's your second best striker.
Actually better striker than Bamford at this point.
The best
he at least scored goals this season.
The best players on your team are the guys you just signed: Sinisterra, Aronson, Adams, and Roca. Those are your best 4 players on the fucking team. Maybe it's the rest of the guys that fucking Jesse didn't get the sign that are the problem.
Christian, is it Christian or Christensen?
It's Christensen, yes.
Okay,
and he's one of the better ones too. Yep.
But he's also played under Jesse, so he knows the system. I think Somerville's been pretty good. He's had chances, and he scored the second goal against Fulham.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's who said it?
Yeah, but
somebody mentioned because the players have let Berhalter down.
This team is not
Berhalter. Berhalter's coming into play with Nate coming low. Yeah,
this team's not good enough.
Yes,
the players available are not good enough. They're just not. I don't even know why he played Ayling today. I can't figure that out instead of Christensen, because Christensen was not injured. I don't know why you do that. That's on Jesse. Yes, that's his mistake. I don't know why you don't play Click instead of Greenwood at center midfield alongside Roca. I know Adams was injured, but Greenwood, really?
Yeah.
I just, some of the decisions are on Jesse. I agree.
100%. Yes, and what Nate brings up here is in-game management is sus. It is. It's the same thing that Berhalter has. His plan B is plan A with just different players. Hey, this isn't working. Let's put a quote unquote like for like player and continue doing what we're doing.
Yep.
So yeah, there's no real adjustment throughout the match. It's just say, hey, here's a sub, fresh legs on the field. We're gonna keep going, guys. Let's go.
Then again, the biggest culprit of all this is the board. They did not get another striker. They did not get another center back. They did not get a left back. They didn't even get backup for Roca and Adams. So if Roca and Adams, one of those two are down, they're fucked. They're playing Greenwood as a fucking holding defensive midfielder.
I would need to see more from
In a
Gelhardt,
double
but
pivot.
Somerville, I definitely want to see more of Somerville.
Yes.
If anything, just to give the Harrisons, give the Aaronsons a bit of a breather from time to time.
Dude,
I feel like they're gonna die before the end of the season, before half through the season.
I'll take Gelhardt over fucking Bamford at this point.
Let's just not play an actual out and out striker. They do with Rodrigo already, but I mean, if Bamford's just gonna shit the bed each time, why even bother?
And by the way, this shouldn't even be an issue because Brian should still be there. All right. And he's not. So that's another big fuck up by the board. Again, this is not all on Jesse. It just isn't. Because Dan James, should be your other option at center forward. He should. Mm-hmm. He should still be on the team. He shouldn't have rode Pine for 90 for Fulham last game. We needed him at Leeds. I don't like the people saying Bielsa would be doing better. Well, clearly he wasn't doing better, and people thinking that are going back to some glory times because Bielsa was in a shitload of trouble. That team was definitely going down until Jesse arrived.
Well, and the funny thing is they talk about his Jesse's current losing streak right now and how it's on par with Bielsa's. The thing is Jesse's not losing 5, 6, 7-0. You know, so. Yeah. It's I understand a loss is a loss. It's still 0 points, but when you're losing 7-0 versus 3-2 or 1-0 against Arsenal when you probably should have beaten them 3-1, it's a little silly.
Yeah,
it's a little silly to even make that argument.
I was going to make this comment about Boyd, by the way, but Berlin Americana beat me to it. Boyd had his third team of the week, has the second most goals scored in 2 Liga. He has the most scored goals as an actual U.S. men's national team center forward in Europe. Why is he not in the U.S. men's national team center forward discussion? Come on, man. You know the answer to that. We don't even need to answer that question because you know the answer. It's Greggg. That's the answer. Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things. Like when Boyd hit the scene back in the day, back in the Klinsmann days, I had a lot of hope for him, and then he petered out. He disappeared for a bit. But yeah, he's fucking
3 Bundesliga.
Yeah, I mean,
he's way down.
He's doing well now, and you look at him like, well, he's playing Bundesliga too. But we're hoarding. We're saying we need to bring up somebody from the Championship. We need to bring up somebody that's currently on loan in Holland right now.
Even when he came to MLS. He was not starting fires. He was not lighting fireworks. So, yeah, I don't know. There are many reasons.
Are you saying that MLS is better than Bundesliga 2? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying that?
No. I say they're fairly equal. Actually, they're fairly close enough. But it's nice to see Boyd getting the service he deserves because, 80% of his goals are headers and shit from crosses. So.
But I guess the bigger question for Berlin, because I haven't really watched Boyd play in a long fucking time, he's scoring all these goals, but is it a PFOC scenario where he just wouldn't fit in Berhalter's system?
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't fit.
So
no, he would not. He is a PFOC. He's another PFOC player. All right.
He's got 7 goals. He's only 1 goal ahead of Sargent. Wait, where's Sargent goals?
I think he's 7 as well.
I know Pepe has 6.
Sargent might have 8. I may be wrong.
He might be above. I'm not sure.
But I thought one of them was in League Cup, so it doesn't really.
That's possible. Yeah.
Okay. Jay Hernandez, let's be serious, man.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, about Boyd.
Well, I think Berlin's just making a point.
Yeah.
Kids just don't have any respect. No respect at all.
No respect at all.
Thoughts on this? Newcastle are reportedly prepared to pay $45 million for Christian Pulisic into January transfer window. My thoughts are, if they offer, you go.
You go, Perez?
No.
Oh.
Pulisic goes. Pulisic should go. He should go because Newcastle are just going to pour more and more money into that club. They're going to be competing for a top 4 spot in the next 2 or 3 years. All right. Josh has 8.
Yeah.
8
That's
what?
what everybody's seen 8 goals. Maybe to your point, to Berlin's point in the sense is that maybe one or more of those maybe league or cup goals, and not necessarily the league which is what Berlin said.
Yeah.
Okay,
we are near the end here. I know we are.
We're getting close. So the next match is going to be at Anfield, basically, and because I said, will he have another lifeline, basically?
Yeah. Well,
so I said. So what you're saying is get out. Wait, whoop. Wait, is this something? Those are related tweets. Hold on. I think is that everything?
Good. I love it when that's everything. Because then you know what? It's time to go to bed.
Hey, it's over, Derek.
It's time to go to bed for the old 51-year-old man. Not bed. I'm still going to eat something. Then go to bed. Hey, I want to thank all of you for hanging in there tonight on a slow Monday.
Very slow Monday.
A Monday where there isn't much news outside of March and the fact that Pepe's scoring. And I cannot wait for the World Cup to start because, guys, this shit's going to blow up. I mean, we're going to have great conversations here. And so thank you for sticking around. Yes, Newcastle. Yes, exactly. Yes, and yes, and yes, Tom, you're correct. And we're going to get some guests on the show. We've been threatening to have on for a while, so we will have guests again. Who was our last? Jake? Jake was last, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Because we were on Sam's. That was the last time we were on. We were on with somebody. We were on Sam's show. So
right. So by contract, we have to close out the show with our sponsor. If you are looking for essential sensorial personal lubricant, I'm gonna have to learn how to read the script better. Look no further than KY, established in
I can't believe I sold this up.
established in 1904. If you need to jerk it, this shit will work it. Again, in turn up the heat and warm and sensual. Those are the two things you can get. So make sure you go out and get your KY.
If you jerk it, it'll help you squirt it.
Squirt it? That doesn't even
that doesn't
rhyme.
It sounded better in my head when I said it out loud.
No. if you need to jerk it, it says this shit will work it. Like you can work it. You know what I mean? Work it. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, good night.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't